I have never seen the Republican Party so unified as it is right now.
It appears there's no stopping Donald Trump from locking up the Republican presidential nomination. The former U.S. president winning a fourth straight primary over the weekend. This one came in South Carolina, where he easily defeated Nikki Haley in her home state by a 20-point margin. And CNN's Karin Caifa has been following these primaries closely. And Karin, Haley says she'll keep forging ahead until at least Super Tuesday. And I'm wondering if you can help us Canadians understand what her campaign can learn from this latest loss to Trump.
Yeah, Cynthia, what Nikki Haley learned is that her home state looks a lot different now than it did a decade ago when she was campaigning for governor and when she was a rising star in state politics. This demographic looked a lot more like Iowa did for Nikki Haley than it did New Hampshire. New Hampshire, she fared a little bit better. Iowa, not so much, because that state was so MAGA friendly and so endeared to President Trump. So what Nikki Haley has to do is try to find a state on the Super Tuesday slate, and there will be more than a dozen of them on March 5th, where the electorate is a little bit more favorable to her. That would include places that have big suburban areas with a lot of moderate Republican voters who may listen a little bit more to her message that she believes she is best positioned to defeat Joe Biden in a general election campaign if she can get there. She has vowed to stay in the race until at least Super Tuesday. Maybe she can find a state or two next week where she can run up the score and find some delegates. But it's not clear right now, Cynthia, exactly which states those would be.
Okay, so there's one more primary to go before we reach Super Tuesday, and it's tomorrow in Michigan. And this is a very important swing state, Karin.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why this primary will be very closely watched. This is the first big swing state to get a shot at the 2024 presidential election. And both parties are going to be looking for takeaways here. Just a recap of general election history. In 2016, President Trump won Michigan. He beat Hillary Clinton. He penetrated the Democrats' so-called blue wall. And in 2020, Joe Biden took it back because he was a very different kind of opponent for Donald Trump than Hillary Clinton had been. Biden very favored among union workers, especially those in the auto industry in Michigan. But Biden has also really struggled to get his economic message to resonate, not just in swing states, but across the country. So that's something the Biden campaign will be looking at, and something the Trump campaign will be looking at as well. And of course, Nikki Haley will be on the ballot there. Nikki Haley is going to try to make an appeal to those suburban voters, those moderate Republican voters. And both campaigns, Biden and Trump, will be looking to see who votes for Nikki Haley, because they feel those could be the kind of swing voters they need to win Michigan. Very closely contested in November.
So very interesting. Now, the presidential vote is expected to be a showdown between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, at least at this point. And President Biden is actually facing some varied opinions within his own party as well.
Yeah, some progressive Democrats tomorrow using that primary to pressure President Biden to call for a permanent ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. This is a grassroots campaign called Listen to Michigan, and they are encouraging voters to not vote for Joe Biden in tomorrow's primary, but to vote uncommitted, which is an option on the Michigan primary ballot. They see it as kind of a low-risk way to put some pressure on President Biden, because President Biden doesn't really have a major opponent in the Democratic primary there.
Well, you are going to be very busy covering this. Thank you so very much, Karin.